Hello people, my name is Daniel Robert Bowman, the appointed, baked in and forming Messianic Sanhedrin. I was never more disgusted, put off by some of you yokos on the Sanhedrin. A membership roster was called for planning our gathering together of elders, and half of you couldn't even bother showing up. And the few that did show up, out of them, some just shadowed. They didn't even enter into the room politely. That is arrogance. That is impolite. I was raised in a generation that, if you're going to be in a room, you just don't stand at the back. You enter into the room. And to see that going on is childish behavior in my books. I was raised a little bit better than that, to have some ethics and a little bit of manners. Now, some people might get critical of me, and I really don't give, if you excuse my French here, rat's ass, okay? I'm a whole lot better off than you guys are, and I don't always measure myself by that means. You guys sit there, just names and faces, on a very important historical and prophetic body as a whole, all right? And we need to get our act together, and you need to understand this. Plain and simple. The Bible speaks of the Reformation. We have to come back to Jerusalem. We can't even get ourselves together here. What are we going to do there in front of the Messiah? You think that, you're going to hold your own little cup of tea over there and you don't have to submit one to another? What does the Bible say? Submit yourselves one to another. Being a master does not entitle me to lord over. But at the same time, I set the example by being submissive to this body. But you people are just off in your own little world, making your own little pipe dream, trying to set yourselves up and lord over each other and see who's going to have the big cream of crop, and try to pick off each other to become disciples of each other so that nobody actually becomes a master. You claim to have the truth, and I haven't heard one thing out of you in regards to the Torah. I've heard a lot of crap coming at you about Obama. I've heard a lot of crap coming at you about earth politics. I've heard a lot of crap at you about environment. But you need to put aside that stuff and flush your toilet because it's starting to stink. We need to preach Yeshua. His return is at hand. Don't you see the signs? You need to wake up. You need to smell the coffee. Time to stop playing church. Trying to make yourselves rabbis. Mr. Erickson, or whatever your name is. Somebody calls you a rabbi, you're there, oh, yeah, that's fine. Somebody calls me a rabbi, you know what I got to say? Please do not call me that. The Bible tells me not to be called any man rabbi. That's my response. Now, I appreciate, thanks my saints, I appreciate those that honor me with such titles. Please don't think that I have any respect, but I do have some respect for my Lord. And He alone is to be the reverend. He alone is the rabbi, the master, the teacher, the great shepherd. He will lead you and guide you in all things. He's the one who puts your checks and balances. I'm the guy who's out there teaching on certain subjects, and I tell people, go check it out for yourself. You don't believe me? Don't take my word for it. I'm a man. I can screw up. While these guys are out there, they know it all. They know it all. You got to listen to them. They got all the facts and figures, the I's dotted and the T's crossed, like they saw at Jesus' fate. Listen, I'm going to tell you something about Dan Bowman. Dan Bowman was born in 1953. He was in a household full of atheistic people. I am not supposed to believe. But I do believe. And I've come to believe. And I trust that firm foundation that was given to me. I have evidence and proof in my life at the number of times that I have just about been killed and left for dead. In the United States and in Canada, I have ample opportunity in my life to lay my life down for my Messiah. And so far, He hasn't called that card. And I thank Him for it because He gives me breath. And I wouldn't be here testifying about this to you. You say I'm ignorant. Okay, I'm ignorant. So what? I don't have a master's degree. But I studied law. I studied psychology. I studied Economics 101, but I flunked Economics 1. I tell you that right now. I'm not good with numbers. But I don't have to be a genius in mathematics to figure out where we are in time and where we are in the continuum of the prophetic. And how I see the time flying past, and how so much disrespect is held and thrown at our leader. You guys need to wake up and read your Bible. You guys need to come together in one place in one accord. Even before he left, our Messiah prayed to Yeshua. He prayed to his Father and said, Lord, Father, Abba, hear me. I pray that they become one, even as you are one. Instead, we're setting up our own little kingdoms. And every man, as it says in Judges, that we did what they did, what was right in their own eyes. Not what was in God's eyes. They had their own selfish interests at stake there at all times. See, these my glasses. These are an old pair. I smashed another pair here this week. Now I have to do me the payday when I can buy another couple of pairs to replace those ones. And these are the only ones I could find that I can see stuff with. So if I'm adjusting them, they're twisted and bent, but at least I can see. But in the seriousness of the moment, you have to understand, God is on the throne. And it's time. I don't care if you're a Christian, and I don't care if you're a Pentecost, a Baptist, a Methodist, Episcopalian. I don't care what root you came from, and I don't care if you're Messianic holiness. I don't care if you're Messianic Jew. I don't care if you're Messianic Gentile. I don't think if you're Nazarene. I don't care if you're Hebrew roots. I don't care that if you're a sacred namer, until you get it right and come to the feet of Yeshua and lay down everything that you got. You think you know it all, but you know nothing. We have some serious times, and we're divided amongst ourselves, and there's false ones out there just cleaning the harvest, leading people astray, and you don't say a word. You don't take the task. There have been several issues that have been presented on the Messianic Sanhedrin site on Facebook for a vote, and you can't even be bothered to put an X after lazy morons. Time to come into repentance. Sukkot is a time of gathering together as brothers and sisters, and I want to see it all there. You want to find out what this guy's all about and criticize me? I suggest you meet me in the flesh. You haven't even met this history. You don't know anything about me. Anything you may know has all been hearsay evidence at the best. I've done a whole lot of work in the background with not even any accreditation or thank you in promoting some of your self-righteous butts up into the front light so you become known and boost your numbers. But how many of you have ever pointed back and said, this is the man that helped me out? I have gone out and promoted Messianic music and singers. Do I even get a letter of thank you for the work that I'm doing? I put it on Facebook on several sites that I joined to, and then I blog on, and I put your music up, and I put the music up. God bless you there, my brother. Joseph, you have such beautiful music, and your wife there, Yolanda, sings such greatness and such spiritualness. And to the other ones that have helped out, and to my friends, Merv and Marla Watson, that have such beautiful voices and talent and teach and have such humility. I'm praying for you in your time in Jerusalem, and I hope that you are successful in committing that one last little step that you need, and that all the work comes together and you're able to do Aliyah. You'll be the first of many amongst us. And you deserve it, my friends. You've sown a lot into the Hebrew life and into Israel's life. And your heart and passion has been noted before God. You can guarantee that. I shall soon be joining you, God willing. In September, Lord willing, I hope to be in the United States one more time, the first time in 20 years. I hope to be able to get doors open and to start touring in the United States of America. It'd be good coming back since Bush slammed the door on me. Talk about how good Republicans are and how godly they are. Well, George W. Sr. slammed the door on this little Canadian crossing over, changing the rules about how to cross that border, and has put a dent in us, and Obama's no any different. You guys need to pray more about who you're putting in office, because not one of them have been righteous, no, not one of them. And they had a little picture of George W. Jr. praying over a kid, and everyone went, Gaga! And I turned around and said, no, 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 the man's a warmonger. His hands will run with blood, and you're still there. I don't care what anybody says. When 9/11 happened, and that was a terrible, tragic moment, and one tower was burning on the ground, and nothing had happened to the second tower, and he's standing here on CNN Live, and he's going, it's very sad to hear about the two towers, and a second plane slams in after his speech and blows it up. Of course, they doctor everything later, but I was there. I watched the TV, and several of my friends were there and watched the TV here in Canada, and we heard what he said. And I looked up and I pointed out, thank you, 9/11, because you're the one who bailed me out of a fat fry. A lot of people were trying to discredit me and saying I was a false prophet and didn't know what I was talking about. And I began to play this Jeopardy game with them. And I found it in the book of Ezekiel, where God talks about how he was going to bring their very epitome, their very article, the very sign and emblem of their prosperity down. And what is the World Trade Center? Two nations. What are Canada and the United States? Built cities without walls, without fear, who for generations felt that nothing could touch them, has now been touched. And we're over there with you, my friends. Don't ever forget that. And we're trying to help you out to become less dependent on the Arabic Muslim world for their oil, who are going to make you beg and grovel for it and pay high prices for it. And we're right here in Canada trying to give you your oil for virtually 10 cents on the dollar, what they're trying to charge you for, and you people are arguing over what? You don't want oil coming through your pipelines down into the States? When it's only being channeled through the lines that are already there, you morons. Do some work, do some history, do some fact. But that's another subject, another day. Hope to see you all there at Sukkoth. Until next time, Shabbat and Shalom.